everybody, and welcome back to some more Ride Along Java game programming. It's just a reminder, this is not a tutorial. For the love of God, this is not a tutorial. I repeat, not a tutorial. Sorry for the ads on the videos, guys. My channel's ad-free, unfortunately, because of the music I'm using. I do get ads, so ad-free in quotations. How about I just don't make money from ads? Don't even have the amount of people anyway that do it. I wouldn't. It's just not fucking worth it. You don't really make a lot of money with the ad revenue anyway, so why ever even enable it? Last time. So I don't know, if you guys don't like the ads and you really want me to get rid of them, actually no, just put on an ad blocker. You know what, for these videos specifically, put an ad blocker on. There you go. You're welcome. You have my that fixes a lot of issues. Last time we actually got animation into the game, and one of the most satisfying things ever to happen to me in game programming is that I did the back end legwork. That I was able to just pop a new sprite object into the game and it just worked. I just copied this off the internet, didn't scale it or nothing. It actually, these are twice the size as they should be from the actual Game Boy. These are 32 by 32, I think, and everything else is 16, I think, or 60. These sprites here, the trees, the grass, this is 16 by 16. These should be technically 16 by 16 sprites, but they were 32 by 32, and I went to put it in there, and it actually worked, and the animation worked. I'm gonna probably have another layer, so that way it goes through the Y layer, because I might have it set up how pretty much the sprite sheet was for these guys, where the Y axis will be changing direction. So if, let's say we wanted the character to go that way, we'll just change the Y to reflect that. You just have to make sure you have all of them that way. Lovely, ain't it? We could do so much with this. So powerful. I got some goals I want to do. Where's my rock? There we go. It's like a petrified turd. Alright. But, yeah, so that was pretty satisfying. There's quite a few more things I want to do. And there's some extra things that I'm not 100% sure I want to do with it. I definitely want to make like a way that do quests, but right now is not the best time, probably. Yeah, that's what you. And I also want possibly do something else for the map. And I probably shouldn't get too far. Honestly, it might not be too bad to wait on it, but the longer you go, the more of a headache it's going to be the change. I think I want to do smaller map, but then I want like to be loading chunks of map instead of having the whole map loaded in at the same time. Hard to say. So basically we'd have a chunk, and then you know, if we like move or something, we get like a certain amount. We'll have like a certain amount of like leeway. So probably like this will be one. This wouldn't be one chunk. I'd want the chunk to be a few times bigger than this. What you see here, and then maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, in each corner, and then we'll have leeway to traverse this, but then at a certain point when the edge is getting close, I want the chunks to start loading in around it, because I don't want to be like offloading and uploading chunks every time we move. Because if we go like this and we update it to load in the new chunk, that's not cool. Now I want us to be able to traverse this a certain distance before, all right, now we could load the chunk, but we're not there yet. I think we need to possibly do, I have a couple options here. I could work on the graphical user interface, the GUI, which is just currently a gray bar on the side. And then actually, if we did fix that, we could alleviate this scrolling nightmare, and we could put them over here. Or, well, not or. Actually, I guess let's check this out. So I've been working a little on something else. I don't know if I brought this up yet. And here we go. It says AI because I want to like work on neural networks, but kind of ways there. I don't know why I would make this like one of the first things that I try to do is something I'm not really used to. This is like a completely different control scheme for me. I normally do tiles. Basically, it's got like a friction and all kinds of stuff going on so that if I let go, it slows down. It's based on the delta time, which is the first time I've ever done anything like that. Actually, I might show you guys something so you guys could tell me potentially the significance of this. Now, I got a lot of this done myself. I only looked up one thing, which is a reminder on what sine and cosine was. These are actually two different objects. This is a sprite. The ball is actually a over here is a shape right here somewhere. It is in game, isn't it? Because it wasn't working when it wasn't in game. Here it is. And this didn't work, I don't think. I'll have to delete that. The shape this suppose worked. That's weird. Let me try again right there, really quick. I thought you were supposed to dispose that. Or does it need to be over here? Interesting. But then the game doesn't crash with this dispose. Who knows? Anyway. Oh man, this is going to be a mind bender for me to try and relive and explain. Basically, we got a shape. We got a circle. We got the main sprite, right? This is all old news. This is how I was moving it before. And then I was like, no, I want it to be like, you know, where you press W to move forward into the direction you're facing. And this just moved in, you know, very little. You'd have to manually rotate. And then you'd have to correlate that rotate with changing your, you know, WASD keys to make sense of it all. It does. It's not very good. So I did this. Basically, there's rotation velocity, which actually doesn't mean what I think it means. Well, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I minus that by the get delta time, which... Yeah, we're plus it by the delta time, so we're, you know, moving in accordance with the... Delta time's a weird one. I can't remember what it was. It's like between... It gets the time of when it draws the frame, and then it gets the time of the next frame that's drawn, and then it subtracts those times, and then what's left over is how long it actually took. I think this is how long it actually took to draw the frame, or in between frames. And then I think that's the better way to do it. If I'm actually using it right, I'm not sure. But it's working, which is something, I guess. And then pressing W, basically we're making sure, you know, we're not out of the max speed. We don't want to go flying off the map instantly. This is it here. The cosine of get rotation, the sprite rotation is actually kind of weird. It could be higher than 360. So I got this like clunky ass shit down here that checks it when it goes over 360, and then it sets it to 0. And then if it goes, actually, if no, I can't do it like that. If greater than 360, yeah, it should be 0. And then if it's less than 0, it's now 360. That way it's kind of loops it, because it actually, without doing this, it could go higher than 360 and less than 0. But we want it to be in that, you know, circle of angles. But then if you do the cosine and then that rotation, you know, anywhere between 0 and 360, that will give you, I think, a positive. Oh my god, I don't know, actually. I think this gives you like a +1 or a -1, or is it a, I think it would be easier if I just checked it. This is gonna say it over and over again, but okay, so it's not super intuitive. It doesn't have to make sense, which is the weird thing. Like, I don't know where I came up with all this, to be honest with you. I just kind of was trying stuff, and eventually all of a sudden it was like, hey, that's like going in a circle. It wasn't quite this. It was actually more of the, I think the thing that really got me out of the track was I was working on the shape in front of it. And then I did basically got to this. Cosine is the X, and then the sin is the Y, and then you divide it by the, you get the sprite rotation divided by the sprite size times 1.8. I have no fucking clue what the significance is of this 1.8 here. I will tell you what. But if you don't have this, well, I could show you that really quick. So if somebody actually knows math, where I have a degree in not knowing math, but if you see here, right there, alright, now watch what happens if I change this to literally any other number. We'll put it to 1. Basically meaning it's not even there. Yeah? Not sure. It's kind of weird because there's like a golden ratio thing. I mean, it's kind of close to the golden ratio. Not as close as I initially thought it was. I think it's like 1.16. But I thought it was 1.6 for a minute, and I was like, oh my god, I know what this is, and it's not what it is. I basically just honed in on this 1.8, kind of just fixed it. So, yeah. The sprite size times the cosine is actually what gives you the radius. I mean, basically it's the radius times cosine and something else, which is, I don't know, and that's why it's out here. If you do the, you want the radius, and I just put the whole sprite size, that way it's the diameter, and that way it'll be out further than, Does it sound like I know what I'm doing yet? Okay, good. I'm just trying to emphasize that you guys do not learn Java from me. Okay, anyway. sure it still works. Thought the red ball was missing. What's that? Alright, you know what? Fuck the Fs. Make sure I didn't break something. And then basically I took that same shit right here. I times it by initially 0.1 because I want it dialed back a little bit because I don't want it to go too fast. Which is another surprising thing that this worked as well. But then I also times it by the delta time. If you see what the delta time is, I have it right here just so I know. It's 0.01. And then that's times 0.1. So I think it makes it actually a more usable number. Because I think if we took the 0.01 out, I think it's too small, believe it or not. Or it's not. Or it just looks really fucking weird. What the fuck? Does this actually make it look nicer? What? I think there's a little bit to be desired here. You know what I'm seeing? My long time nemesis. Wait. Alright, let's go this way. Yeah. Magically going faster in the X and Y dimension. How would you fix that one? Or wait. Or is it just this direction? It looks like it's just this direction. How about going down? Interesting. You know, I'm really not too sure. But that's not really the point of this game here, is for neural networks. I just happen to want to try and doing a different style of locomotion. Anyway, I guess let's go work on the... Oh my god, this would work way better as a stream, but here we are. Alright, the graphical user interface. Yes, this looks like the game I want. I think this will all start with objects.txt file. And then basically I think we need to add something like this, right? I think I want to make delete not a util. It's not even in the layer of utility. Why is one util and one GUI? Nobody knows. That's a weird one. Alright, well, we figured out, found something out. Basically, did I? No, I don't. Basically, I want to take this. No. I think I want path in the same spot. And then I want to do a new field here, and I want it to be group. Okay, I understand it's spelled wrong. Just tell me how to spell it right, and then I'll be fine. No, I feel like I spelled it right the first time. I just don't understand. What? What are you doing? Doesn't look like, now that it had like the red lines there, now I don't even know. Question myself. All right, and then we'll just call this the delete group. I don't need the copy, the delete. And then trees. Like, I feel like I could do this better by having it like, yes, the trees here, and I put like group trees, and then everything in here is considered trees. I don't know. I think having it as part of the individual object's a better idea. Group trees. Trees. Well, I can copy it. Oh, okay, I'm done out of trees now, so it's a little late for that one. Grass. Or wait, should I do turn? Well, this is all under terrain. Should I have like group and subgroup, and then I'll have it boiled down to like terrain equals trees as well, but then subgroup grass. That'd been a fucked up one. Yes. Your group grass, water. You now identify as grass. Water, because then I'll have different waters. Then group rock, we'll have different rocks. And gravel, I'm gonna leave that. I don't fucking want that one anymore. Group.
I'm Big Earl and you're chilling with me here on Groove Salad.
What, group people or group NPCs? I'm gonna go people. Popol. No, it's a people. Okay. Now that fixed it. Now it should just work, right? No, it doesn't. Joking. You gotta do some back end stuff here. We need to go ahead and just copy this. Then shabam. And then group. And now it works. Oh no, it doesn't. This is the only issue. Basically, we're making all this like groundwork stuff here. But I still have to go in there and manually enter in this groundwork stuff in there. Man, one day, just be able to take care of itself. This is basically what I'm talking about. Because we need... this one. Group. And we come down here. Oh my god, there's so many. This is the only thing I'm kind of worried about. Is there's a lot of things in here, and I feel like the more things you got in it, the more weighty it is. It's getting fat. So the more tiles you got updating at the same time, or just more tiles that are created, the more shit each one has, the more resources they take up. What are you doing? Can't load file. Edit or delete. What did I do to you? Delete. Did I fuck something up? I did. Delete. No. Set group. Man, I'm happy that took me a couple seconds to think through. Alright, that means nothing there. Now, cracking my knuckles, because this is going to get intense. Next time. No, I'm joking. Trying to think of a decent way to do this. This one I could do, instead of an array list, I could do 2D array. No. I am actually not 100% sure. A 2D array would be the best way, because we want... Sorry guys. Looking for my shoe. There we go. If we have a 2D array, we could have... the first element as the group, and then that would make the second element of all those be the I think this one's super through. I clearly was doing something with buttons, but I was thinking more along the lines of just making just a shitload of them instead of trying to have them in groups. And I would like to have I need to get like a font renderer in here at some point too, but I remember that just being a fucking chore last time I tried to fuck with fonts or just text in general. I think the buttons make sense, right? We don't want an infinite amount of buttons. We want a certain amount. That's just going to be the ones displayed, and then we go hover over it, we scroll, then it'll go through all the types. Like such as the button would be grasses, right? And then when you scroll, it'll scroll through the different grasses. So we'd still want the buttons there, but then we'd be just changing out the tiles to reflect the button for the button. So it'd just be swapping them out. And technically, I pretty much don't really need the buttons then. I could just have them tiles, which creates a whole nother smorgasbord of weird stuff. I am rendering and I'm not updating the GUI. Alright, at least that is now part of the game. And then we will... I think we need to have... I think we need to know how many groups there are. So we can't initialize an array without knowing the size of the array. Could do private int groups. Don't do this to me. Groups. And when we start, we'll just be like groups equals 0. And then when we get here, oops, that tells us how many groups we're gonna have. But even funner one is knowing how many of each tile is in each group. I think there's an easier way to do this, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm doing it by... I mean, I could do this a completely different way. I could have round tiles... Basically, I could have, like, groups, and then I could turn them into... Inject the groups into the tiles, and then the groups no longer matter in here. And actually having it by groups would might end up having it better in the long run, because if we have, like, certain things like... we could say, like, trees don't need to update very often. Well, if you call them down, they do need to update. I don't know. We're getting to the outer edges of my knowledge here. I don't feel like trying to change up the foreground background stuff. I could have it load these all into groups, and then we could have another thing that handles the groups. Basically would take, well, for loop through each group, and then it will place the tiles into the correct layer from there instead of doing it here, which I just don't think is worth it. Just need to come up with a different way of knowing how many. It's not that I need to know how much is in each group. I need to know what the max is of that group. I need to know the max of any group, basically, because that would need to be the max size for the second part of our array. I mean, I could just set an arbitrary number, but that doesn't sound like a good way to do things. Doing things in like absolutes is better, especially when you're fucking around with arrays. I really would like to do this in an array list fashion. They're so much more elegant to work with. But then what would I do? Would I actually have a whole nother array list of just I don't know if that would work. You had an array list tiles, it's groups. It doesn't really fix something. I need I need like a beer or something. If you're new to programming or game programming, that's a lot of it. Just thinking things through. You have to think it through. Doing it this way is a little advanced for my level of shit. I could just go through the for loop. UI is made after map, which would mean that the resource loader is already taken care of. I could go through, could use a for loop, and I'd like to do it in here. I wouldn't want to do it in the GUI. I want everything to be handled in the resource loader. Alright, I think I got an idea. It's a place to start. We need the number of groups and the max group size. We're gonna make that equal 0 for the moment. And then I probably will make a new group size, and then we'll just for loop through this one's bending my mind a little bit. Still need to know. feel like doing an array list is like still the best thing. Oh man, I knew this was gonna be a rough thing to do. Live in a video. Or just everything in general. In regards to programming. I might think of all kinds of janky stuff that I really don't think is a great way to do it. Usually I'm a little quicker to like implement changes and stuff, but I really don't want to get in a spot where I break something and I can't easily revert what I did. Basically, we got it set up so we know how many groups there are as a start. I mean, I could just completely subvert the max group size, but that would fuck up. Here's the biggest issue. That will really screw us in the whole modability thing, because my whole thing right now is that we could add as many things as we want as long as we comply with the parameters I set or have set. So you could add like an infinite amount of trees if you wanted. But if I set a max group size, it doesn't have enough. I mean, I could set the max group size to the amount of tiles. That sounds like a good cheaty way that is completely... such a girly way out. Should I just do that for the time being and then I could kind of think of it? But if we bypass this issue now, it might be more difficult to fix later. Alright, let me re-look at how we're doing this. Basically, we're loading this in. We got trees, we got group trees. I don't want it to be basically how it works now is that this is just structured for readability. You could technically just place this anywhere and it'll be fine. I don't want to have something that's hard coded, like if it's reading from this way and be like, all right, then now we got a new group. I mean, I could do it that way. So I could just be like, it'll be on a current group. I'll save that as a string, and then I will compare it to the next group. Next time it checks this and it's not the same group, and then it will cap that, and I can check it, check the max size with a temporary size. Like this will add each one to a temporary max size, and then it could commit it to the max size if it's the newest, greatest one. But that really depends on reading it in this specific order. Array list, string, group. I feel like I do way too much with array lists than I probably should. Then I could add, instead of this, that might be just nice though. I might just leave that. We will add to group, add, and then we'll just add this. This is horrible. I'm not super cool with how this is. I'm thinking of doing this. Now I'm thinking of a for loop. I is less than group dot size fucker. Plus plus. basically, we filled it up with every single one. But now I need to sort these into individuals. Do I have like a temporary array list in here now? Jesus Christ. So basically, I want to add if group I nope dot group get I dot compare to so it's really dumb. Getting more embarrassed by the minute. That hasn't stopped me before though. Temp dot get J. I don't know if I have too many of those now. this happens, it's gonna go through each one. Unfortunately, I think I'm going about this wrong. If that equals true, then actually instead of this, I'll just do int temp max 0, temp max plus plus, then I also want to do group dot remove, because this is only if it's equals. Remove J. No, remove I if it's equals. Suppose first one, this will loop through and then check to see if there's any that are similar. If there is, it'll move it at J. And then down here, temp max, wait, we'll need to do another if. Temp max is greater than max group size, max group size, temp max. Oh, I'm pretty sure I need that one still. this nonsense. Let's do system dot out dot println
Salad, listener supported
max
commercial-free
group
radio from Soma FM.
size. Really? All right. I wonder if it's because I'm doing this remove here. It's not. I'm doing something dumb and I'm not. My brain's just not working for it. Zero. Started typing the wrong thing.
Big Earl, the virtual host with the most, chillin' you with the special taste of groove salad.
Okay. It's a weird one. Alright, still being a butt. Okay, this now then? Oh, fucking so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Alright, so we got... Says 8. That made me almost a little nervous. So I think it should be 2, right? Fingers crossed. What? What the fuck? And J equals each other, and then we'll group remove. Oh, we never... Fucker. We need to... For each one of these, we need to... temp max equals 0. Oh my fucking god. Alright. For the hell of it, I'm gonna change this from group grass to group trees. And let's see how that does. Alright. Let's change that back to grass. Change this to grass. Water the grass. Actually, I need to do another one that's out of place. Let's do delete to grass. Sounds right to me. 2, 3, 4. All right. Group delete, group trees, grass, water, rock, Don't care. People. I would like to have like subgroups, but I don't know if I could handle another layer of nonsense. I think I got that worked out. So that means now I could just create my array list. I made my new array. Based on that. Nope. Not 100% sure where I was at on this one. I wish I typed that in right before I did that. I think it was... I wanted a 2D array, but I wanted to do that. Not 100% sure. Does that mean I'm getting rid of the buttons like this? I think so. I'm probably gonna have to think about this one. I think we're way too long anyway. So I'm gonna end the episode here. Then I might do a little bit of thinking about this one before we come back, because I wasn't really... I had a feeling we were gonna be jumping in on the graphical user interface, but I wasn't expecting how intense it was gonna be. How I was initially gonna do it was gonna be a lot easier, and I decided to do it more difficult. I'm like kind of upset that this took me so long. Basically, you got all this stuff. You got the number of groups and the max group size. And then that will give us our 2D array, but I can't remember exactly how I wanted to implement it. And I think my brain's kind of burnt out. I might actually just go record a video game so I don't have to think as much. Yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is probably not the most entertaining thing on the planet, and if you ended up hanging around this long, oh my god, I feel bad for you. Oh my goodness. But I could just keep deleting videos every time I record it, because I actually did that quite a few times already. But at least we made progress, I guess. I'm surprised that actually worked as well as it did. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. It lets me know what you want to see more. And a better gauge, actually, I want to kind of put out there is to actually comment, because I found out my older videos, I don't get like updates for likes, but I do get notified for comments. So if you actually comment on a series, that's a lot easier for me to kind of pinpoint and be like, yeah, people want to see more of that. If you like what I do in general, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to leave any kind of feedback, comment, or just want to say hey, I will say hey back. So until next time, do take care. I need to rest my noggin. This was a little much for after a day of working. Take care.